Right, so I like to say Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shah, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Kahakadash. Double on to the apostles and elders of GMS and salutations to you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. I'm going to do a real quick video on this video, Morgan Freeman BS on racism. The thing is, man, is that if you want advice from Morgan Freeman and these actors and rappers, then get advice in the profession that they're in, right? Don't get advice from what's going on with the economy, social life and things like that. You want advice from these guys, then get advice that deals with how to be a best actor, how to be a best rapper, or knowing how to rap, right? Or knowing how to, get into more auditions, to become a better actor, right? This is the type of advice you should be getting from these guys. See, but the thing is with you people is that you love listening to guys like this because they know how to make a lot of money, right? They know how to get into your commercials. They know how to get into your a trade deal that deals with being sponsored. They know how to get into more movies that directors like putting them in, right? This is the type of things that you people like, not understanding that these dudes right here, that's all they care about, man. When you talking to them about racism doesn't exist to these people because they're rich. Racism doesn't exist to these people. Now, I'm not saying that every so-called black, Hispanic, or Native American man that get rich don't believe that racism doesn't exist, but a mass majority of them don't believe that racism exists. Something can happen in their lives. Events can take place in their lives where, and I'm gonna get the scriptures here because I posted the scripture on the comment board. I'm gonna get the scriptures, Salakia. Bear with me for a second. I'm just trying to get this point out. An event can happen in their life, like Lil Wayne's situation, where Lil Wayne shot himself, and he said there was all these black dudes that was police officers that passed him by, and the one so-called white cop saved him. And at that point, racism don't exist. When he go to when he go and do these tours, when he doing his tours, the majority of the people there are so-called white people, because a lot of so-called black people don't have the money nor the savings to go and pay for a damn $200 ticket. You know what I'm saying? But so-called white people do, right? But because of situations like that, racism doesn't exist. That's why when you get advice from these cats, only get advice would deal with how to be a best actor, right? How to be the best rapper, right? Deals with do things like that, man. But dealing with economy, dealing with racism and all that, man, don't go to these type of people for advice, man. Like I said, check out the video. It's called Calling BS. I'm gonna go to the video as well, but it says Calling BS on Racism, Morgan Freeman. But this is the scripture that I left. Well, I even said it here too. I said the only advice you need from Morgan Freeman is acting, nothing else. Right? And somebody like the scripture I put up here, which is Sirach chapter 13 verse 23, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 13 verse 23, where it says, when a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue. Right? When a rich man speak, everybody hold their tongue because he's rich. He makes a lot of money. And a lot of people here in America wants to get into that position. They want to be millionaires, right? It says, and look what he saith. They extol it to the clouds. Oh, Morgan Freeman, look what he said. Oh, Will Smith, look what he said. Who else, man? Who else do you have, man? You got you have Michael Jackson at a point in time. All of these multi-millionaires, damn near billionaire movie stars, everybody listening to them. You had Tyrese, and his in his monologues, right? So it says, but if the poor man speak, for an example, I will be considered a poor man because I don't have, I'm not sitting on, millions of dollars. Brothers in this truth, we will be considered poor. According to the scriptures, poor means to be inflicted, right? But we, in the eyes of the U.S. community, will be considered poor because we don't have a lot of money, which means what advice to them? They're saying, well, what advice can you give me that's going to make, just going to put me in a position where I'm going to be sitting in this big multi-million-dollar house, where I'm going to be sitting in these nice fancy cars and all the jewelry and everything. What advice can you give me that's going to put me in that position, right? So that's how they're looking at it. If you can't give me no advice that's gonna put me in that position, then I don't want to hear shit you gotta say. That's how they is, It says, but when a poor man speak, they say, "What fellow is this? Who is this guy? Who is this? You know this guy, right? Where his suit at? Where's his slacks? Where's the Rolex watch, right? Where's his fancy car, right?" It says, and if he stumble, they will help to throw him, to overthrow him. Right? This is how you people are in America, man. You extol him that is rich. You extol him that have money. Right? Racism doesn't exist. Come on, man. Right? So real quick, I'm just gonna show you.
Hey, everybody.
I'm just going to show you real quick the title of the video. It says, Morgan Freeman silences Don Lemon, or if that's how you say his name, Salakia, if I'm saying it wrong, by calling BS on blaming racism, right? Which racism actually deals with a lot of things that's going on, but I'm gonna try to roughly paraphrase scriptures. I'm trying to stay away from trying to roughly paraphrase scriptures due to the fact that, look, I wouldn't say the word by word, but I'm driving right now, so I'm just gonna pretty much just say another comment, or write another comment on the Morgan Freeman situation. Then I'm gonna end the video. But that's pretty much what it's called. It's Don Letterman, Lemon, and Don Letterman or Lindemann or whatever his name is, and Morgan Freeman discussing racism in America. And Morgan Freeman is pretty much sitting there, well, if racism exists, then how me and you in the positions that we in? Just because, this is what I gotta say, just because you are in a position in America doesn't mean that racism do not exist, man. Just because you are an actor. The thing is, you are benefiting the so-called white man by being an actor. He don't give a damn. He could be the most racist motherfucking dude alive. Hate black people, hate so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans with a fucking passion. But at the same time, put you in a position to be an actor because you're gonna profit him. You're gonna make him millions of dollars. You could make 10 million. Guess what? He's gonna make 50 million off you, man. You're profiting him. And if you read up a couple verses in this same chapter, it's gonna tell you that the moment that your ass isn't gonna profit these directors and these other filmmakers, guess what? Your ass gonna be out of the bunch, man. Salakia real quick. Salakia. Right? Your ass is gonna be out of the bunch. Let you turn around and mess up his money, and you gonna get messed up. You're profiting the so-called white man. Man, I want to get to scripture real quick. Salakia, man. I'm driving right now, but bear with me, man. Let me try to grab this scripture real quick, man. It's in the same chapter. Salakia, bear with me. Right. Salakia. I'm trying to grab it right now. But I'm trying to drive and grab the scripture at the same time. So bear with me, man. Let's see. Ecclesiasticus chapter 13, verse 3. It says, the rich man have done wrong, and yet he threateneth withal. The poor man is wrong, and he must entreat also. If thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. So if you're not bringing nothing to the table for the so-called white man, guess what? He's going to get rid of your ass, man. He's going to get rid of you. Just like Morgan Freeman is an actor, right? In order for him to get movies and shit like that, he got to deal with directors and all of those things. But let him turn around and fuck something up, and he's not profiting the so-called white man. They're gonna do away with his ass, man. And this is why I said, taking advice from an actor is one of the worst things you want to do, unless you wanted to become an actor. Unless you wanted to become an actor, these are the things that you're looking forward to. Then, hey, take all the advice you need that he's gonna give you on acting and and auditions or whatever the hell. But any other thing besides that, come on, man, that's not of his profession. That's not of his profession, man. Same thing with Will Smith. Same thing with Martin Lawrence. Same thing with Tyrese. Same thing with all these other actors, man, and rappers and singers and shit. You want to be a singer? Guess what? Go get advice from a singer. But if you want to get into economics, you want to get into stock marketing, you want to get into all those things, don't talk to them about that. They have managers and shit like that deals with stocks and bonds and shit like that deals with the economy, right? You want to talk about racism? Them the last motherfucking people you want to go to about racism, especially people that's telling you that racism doesn't exist, which the word racism actually means for your people. That's what it actually means. But when you got again, the society looks at racism as, I don't like you because of the color of your skin type thing. You know what I'm saying? So when you got dudes like Morgan Freeman telling you that racism doesn't exist because he's rich, Don Lemon, he's on whatever type of news channel he's on. Look, you're profiting the so-called white man. This is why you are in a position that you in. But the moment that your ass is not profiting him, guess what? It's no different than when we was in slavery. If you picked under the amount of cotton, your ass will be beat, man. But if you picked the exact amount, you will be all right. But if you pick more than what is scheduled for you to pick, you will profit him. You'll have a whole day off from not picking cotton, man. Come on, man. Stop playing these fucking games. You people are blind as hell, man. This is why 2/3 of our people, like Morgan Freeman, got to be put to death. You a good actor, my man. You one of the best actors, but you a 2/3, man. You lack understanding, right? As long as your ass is profiting these devils, guess what? Oh, they gonna treat you well. But behind your back, they calling you all sorts of niggas. Behind your back, they calling you all sorts of spics, right? Behind your back, they calling you all sorts of native niggas, but you profiting them. You making them money. Just like in basketball, man. I forget what the cat name, right? So like, bear with me for a second. Right, so real quick, I'm gonna play this video for you real quick, man. Right, because Morgan Freeman said racism doesn't exist. Right, so this was about 7 years ago, man. And I'm just playing this video to show you how these owners, these so-called white owners, that own basketball, that set you up as movie stars and things like that, how they really feel about you, man.
To the U.S. now, where a racism scandal is erupting during the NBA playoffs. The owner of the Los Angeles Clippers is accused of telling his girlfriend not to bring black players to his games.
Hold up, but racism don't exist, right? This was 7 years ago, but racism exists still to this very day, man. All you gotta do is piss these people off, and their racism will definitely and most likely 100% of the chance, 120% of the chance come out, man. So don't tell don't tell me racism doesn't exist still.
The allegations prompted a silent protest on the court and plenty of outrage off it. The CBC's Paul Hunter has the story.
Upon entering the court for pre-game warm-ups.
Pre-game, and from the LA Clippers, practice jerseys inside out, hiding the team logo, then tossed on the ground. A protest against team owner Donald Sterling. Fans echoed their disgust. Sterling's under fire for taped comments said to be of him telling his girlfriend to not bring black people to his games and to not post photos of herself with black people on social media.
You had to talk to me a lot if you want to broadcast that you're associating with black people. You don't have to. You could sleep with them, you could bring them in, you could do whatever you want. The little I ask you is not to promote it on that and not to bring them to my games.
Sterling, whose wife is in a court battle with the girlfriend, has not denied that's his voice. The universal response to what was said is condemnation, outrage, anger. Appalling, said star player LeBron James. Michael Jordan called it sickening. And Magic Johnson, apparently targeted by Sterling for this photo with Sterling's girlfriend, like the audio posted by TMZ Sports, said he'll never again attend a Clippers game under Sterling.
He shouldn't own a team anymore. And he should stand up and say, I don't want to own a team anymore.
Message to the that own the Clippers.
Rapper turned actor Snoop Dogg.
You, your mama, and everything connected to you.
Like I said, man, some actors and some rappers, still recognize that there's racism out there, but you got some of them that that believe that racism isn't out there, and like Morgan Freeman said, people who don't want to do better use racism as an excuse to not do better, but racism plays a big role in that. Just a year, 2 years back, they did a social experiment. They had a so-called black man, a Chinese, and a so-called white man, and they tested them in store departments and store departments and apartment buildings and homes, and they wanted to see if the three men would get treated differently because of their race. And guess what? The so-called white man, when they went to the store, the so-called white man got treated better, right? He got treated better. They didn't. Hey, how you doing, sir? Is this what you want? And this and that. The so-called black man, they was looking at him like he was gonna steal something. And the so-called Chinese man, nobody pretty much said anything to him, right? Not that we don't really care about the so-called Chinese, but I'm just in general talking about the social experiment. Then the apartment, the so-called white man wanted a one-bedroom apartment. They wanted to give him. They wanted to, hey, you ain't got to pay no down payment, right? Just come in, the apartment's yours. And he was charged, and they wanted to charge him cheaper than what the apartment actually cost. The so-called black man, they wanted to hit him with the full-scale ammunition. They wanted to hit him with the AK, the M16, the rocket, the RPG, right? The heat seeker, shit, the atomic bomb, nuclear missile. They said, hey, man, you about to be charged all of this. And the Chinese, man, he was showing a little decency, man, not as the so-called white man, but he was still showing a little decency. So this was no more than a year, 2 years ago, man. They did that social experiment. So it goes to show you that racism still exists, man, and racism does affect the so-called black man in these neighborhoods, man. So come on, man. Hey, tell Morgan Freeman to shut the fuck up, man. If you want to talk about anything, man, talk about acting, right? Talk about how you could do commercials and shit. Talk about things like that. Other than that, man, don't talk about shit else, man. You fucking actors, man. Pretty soon, man, the Most High, hey, the scripture says the stars shall fall from heaven, man. You motherfuckers are dying left and right. And pretty soon your old ass is going to catch a heart attack. Right? Get your ass up out of here with all that nonsense, man. I'm gonna play the rest of this video, man.
This piece of you.
Even U.S. President Barack Obama weighed in, calling the comments ignorant and incredibly offensive. And even as America still struggles with race, out of touch.
Part of why some statements like this stand out so much is because there have been a shift. There has been this shift in how we view ourselves.
As that shift may have yet to reach Donald Sterling, the NBA now promises due process, but swift action. Former Toronto Raptors coach Butch Carter.
If Mr. Sterling mans up and say, yes, I did have this conversation and I said that what was taped, then I think the commissioner, he'll probably at least suspend him, hopefully, for a year.
In the shadow of all of this, the Clippers played on, but poorly.
Right, look at a so-called black man. Always want to show mercy to his enemy. Or maybe they'll expend him for a year. No, they should fire his ass, man. He should be locked up and then whipped in the back. Like, hey, he should get the whole 9, man. But what Donald Sterling said, look, the only thing I want I give them, what did he say? I give them cars, I give them clothes, I give them houses. And like he was a bunch of damn monkeys, man. Right? Like he was a bunch of damn monkeys. This is what you get out of your enemy, man. Your enemy hates you. Let me get another scripture, then I end it, man. Let me get another scripture, I end it. Hey, man, they hate you, man. They hate you, so-called black Hispanics and Native Americans. You ain't nothing but niggas to them. Right? This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 5. Right? I was going to get Amos 1 and 11, but I'm going to grab this. This is Ezekiel 35:5. The scripture says, because thou hast had a perpetual mean continual, hatred, and have shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity and the time that their iniquity had an end. Right? So the Most High, he's going to bring judgment upon Esau, Edom, for your hatred, for killing, mass murder of the so-called black Hispanics and Native Americans. Your judgment is coming. But again, to you dumbass niggas out there like Morgan Freeman, stop taking advice from cats like that, man. That dude don't know how to do nothing but make you rich or get you rich. And ultimately, that's up to the Most High. The scripture says, for I make it poor, I make it rich. Right? One more. Uno, like the brothers call me, unos mas. Right? Let me get one more, man. But one thing I tell you, man, I'd rather grab a whole bunch of scriptures than it just be yapping my damn mouth. I tell you that. So, uno mas that. Hosea 4 and 6, it says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, right? Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. So there you go, man. Other than that, I'm going to end it from there and say Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakah HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, and salutations to you brothers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. Lord willingness was edifying for you brothers. I'd like to say Shalom.